All right,
Neil Pope, Nielsen.
I'm gonna do this, because I never hit the gavel, it's fun. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Western Placer Waste Management Authority Board meeting of July 10th, 2025. Thank you for being here. We are going to begin with a call to order, and which I did, and now the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Director Halden, would you lead us in the pledge? Oh, no, it says Director Hodeschelt.
Yeah.
Director Hodeschelt, would you lead us, please?
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and now we will have roll call, please.
Director Halden.
Here.
Director Hadeschelt.
Here.
Director Landon. Director Reedy.
Here.
Chair Gore.
Here. Thank you. And would you please read the statement of meeting procedures?
Welcome to the Western Placer Waste Management Authority meeting of July 10th, 2025. Agendas are available on the table outside this meeting room. If you are here to speak on a matter not on the agenda, you may do so during public comment. The board is not permitted to take action on items addressed under public comment. All items on the agenda will be open for the public to address before final action is taken. Accessibility information is provided on the meeting agenda. Please turn off or put in silent mode all cell phones and other electronic devices. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you, Emily. And now we'll move to public comment. This is an opportunity for people to address the board on items that are not on the agenda. Just a reminder that we can't take actions, the board can't take actions on items, but we welcome you to make some comments. So anyone like to address the board on any item? Come on up.
Good evening. This is Daniel Rumsey with FCC. I just wanted to let everybody know I just stopped in and doing some visits, and really exciting times as we're processing material and getting better every day. So I got the technical experts with me today, but again, just wanted to say good seeing everybody, and yeah, exciting time. So
Great, thank you. Glad to see you, and I did have a chance. Andrea took me around the facility yesterday, and it was so exciting. I never thought trash could be so exciting. All those conveyor belts moving and things going to different places. So looking good. Thank you. Anyone else on public comment? All right, seeing none, thank you. We will move on to item number 6, which is announcements and information, and we'll start with our report from our general manager. Scott.
Thank you, Chair Gore. As we just heard, exciting news about the MRF. The MRF is online and processing material daily. I've been receiving updates from FCC daily reports on tonnage process, throughput, amount of tons sent to the CASP, and it's all been very encouraging. Also, equipment issues, as is prone to happen when these facilities are getting going. The month of July is really being used to make these adjustments and to be prepared to start sending all the inbound material, MSW, hopefully as soon as possible, sometime in August. But as of now, material is running through there, 25–30% of our tonnage coming in, so the diversion numbers will start ticking up just by the fact that it's running through the system. So very exciting. I know Chair Gore took a tour. I'll be reaching out to each one of you to try to schedule a tour over the next couple of weeks. I think it's a good time to see it while it's still being, worked on. A little quieter, a little cleaner in there. So hopefully we can get each one of you out in the morning so it's not too hot. The exciting also the RFP for the beneficial use of landfill gas was released on the 7th of July. I want to thank Eric for a lot of hard work he put into that. I think there's a job walk, a site walk coming up later this month. So we're going to, bring in people, get feedback. We're already looking at possibly extending that deadline to make sure everybody has enough time to respond to the RFP, because we want to get as many responses as possible. It's an exciting project for us. Quick follow-up to the budget item. That one of the budget items we discussed last month was the credit card processing fees, and there was a big jump in what we were being charged by the company. Staff has been working on some new pricing, and I think where we're at right now is they're at $100,000 less, so they dropped the price by $100,000. We're not, we're not done yet. We're still going to look at other vendors. I think the price is still a little too high, but at least we're making progress on that front. So staff's been working hard on that. Last update is Anel Cantillano, our civil engineer assistant. I don't believe you guys have met her. She's down there. She's been with us about a year. We're excited to have her on board. And I just heard today that she passed her PE exams. She just found out a couple days ago. So she's just waiting on her license number. So congratulations, Anel.
Yeah, congratulations. I hear that's a difficult test, so congrats.
And I also might have heard last item that it's Andrea's birthday today. So, so happy birthday to Andrea.
Happy birthday.
And that's it.
All right, thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate that. Next, we have financial reports. Eric.
Yes, thank you, Chair Gore. Your board has the preliminary June financials in your packet. I say preliminary because at year end, it's usually kind of a crazy rush to get all the expenditures and revenues documented. So this is a preliminary look at it. We'll come back at the next meeting, hopefully with the final wrap up for the year. But has been the case the entirety of the fiscal year. We are above our projections on revenue, below our projections on costs. And so, it appears finishing out the year very strong. So with that, if there's any questions on any specific line items, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes. So if the blue line's
Oh.
above the red,
We're not on that one yet.
oh, no,
We're on-
no, that's
we're on
not a
this
budget.
one.
That's not a budget, huh?
That's the tonnage report.
Oh, there's numbers, there's dollar signs on there. I'll hold my question.
Anyone else on the financial report? Okay, sorry, Bruce, but I'm glad you
No,
have
no,
questions.
thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you. Then we'll move to the tonnage reports.
Yes, good evening, Madam Director and fellow directors. Another year in the books, looking at our tonnage reports. MSW was tracking above expected for the majority of the year, in particular in May and June. And I think we can attribute that to a lot of it. That's when our Recology and Lincoln free dump passes, those are the months that those are used by citizens, contributing to those strong numbers. And then I think coupled with also the C&D wait times, some of those borderline loads where it could be MSW, it could be C&D, well, let's call it MSW to have a faster line. And then also wood waste is lower than expected. That's a very competitive market for our area where a lot of places take it for free. Obviously the lines in the construction progress has impeded our site on that, but as we're nearing the end of construction, we look to have those issues resolved and hopefully have those numbers and that tonnage return. With that, be happy to answer any questions from your board.
Thank you very much. Well, Director Hodeschelt, question.
Staff has answered my question.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Great. Then we will move to item D, facility projects update.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, Board. I will say we got a lot of actually positive updates from the memo that you see here, just updated today with Andrea. So for the MRF improvements for Phase 2, FCC anticipates resuming construction of the ADA improvements by the end of the month, and that's for the interior and exterior ADA improvements out front. For Phase 3A, Van Dyke and FCC are working through the wet testing commissioning process, wherein material is actively being processed through the facility, and the system has reached up to about 75% flow capacity in testing. So that's not the actual total daily processing, but just in material actually on the equipment at one time. So that's a great update. The fire suppression had their final test today and that passed, so there's no more fire watch personnel on site. It's now completely reliant on the suppression system. And traffic is still being routed to the west of the MRF for the public and commercial access to the MSW and C&D tipping areas. The organics conveyor is complete. and construction of the odor control pad to the west of the MRF. It's actually just right around this corner here, is anticipated to begin this month as well. For phase 3B, which is the CASP, there are 3 heaps that are already filled and covered, and those are the mobile units, with the MRF fines that are being generated from the commissioning. FCC is currently exploring the idea of using more mobile units than originally planned, but that's to be determined at this point. The permanent CASP pad began pouring concrete today, and the trenches will be poured next week. And then the concrete for the densimetric table pad is actually planned for tomorrow and early next week as well. Jumping down to the certificate of occupancy, now that we have the fire suppression system completely done for the MRF, the final piece is the piece that staff is working with the county on. WATMA staff have submitted the surveyed roadway center lines to Placer County for their concurrence. Once we get concurrence, then we'll come back to your board with a recommendation and to actually approve the easement dedication. For the SPWA compliance project, the granular activated carbon filtration system is complete, the pilot that is, and WATMA staff is developing a final report for that pilot system to submit to SPWA tomorrow, actually. And then from there, we'll move forward with a design on a multi-stage treatment process for the facility. The South Compost Pond odor update, FCC's effort to reduce the odors have been effective, but WATMA and FCC still have established weekly communication to discuss the current and proposed actions. So we're still keeping track of that. But if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Great, thank you very much, Ryan. Any questions? No question. All right, moving forward. Good. Thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda, and all items on this agenda are considered routine in nature. Does anyone want to remove one of the consent agenda items?
I just have a clarification.
Certainly.
See what page it is. On page 9, it says minutes of May 15th, the top.
Oh.
Is it the wrong minutes in the packet or just the wrong title on top?
It's
Okay.
the wrong title. So these should be
They are the June ones, right?
June. Okay, so we'll just make that change. Good catch. That's June 12th on the minutes. And then did anyone in the public wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? No? All right, then we'll bring it back to the board for action with just that.
Move consent. Second.
Motion by Director Hodeschelt, second by Director Halden. Roll call, please.
Director Reedy,
Yes.
Director Halden,
Yes.
Director Hadeschelt,
Yes.
Chair Gore.
Aye. Thank you. All right, action item 8A, landfill gas system operation and maintenance services.
Good evening again tonight, Chair Gore, and fellow Board of Directors. I'm your sole action item tonight. So kind of an interesting one, a two-parter. Staff recommends signing an agreement for an initial 1-year term with Tetra Tech for the landfill gas and leachate operations, maintenance, and monitoring services. And as well as doing that, signing a 3-month extension with SCS Field Services to finish them out in Q3. Some background information on this piece. The WATMA has historically hired a contractor or consultant to do the landfill gas, all of its operation, any maintenance for the well field, the blower flare station itself, and also all the regulatory reporting associated with that operation and that landfill activity. As we've seen, as WATMA has grown, we feel like this is a very good piece to internalize. WATMA staff itself has taken on more and more internal operation pieces, including the recutting of modules 1, 2, 10, 11 to fix surface erosion issues from stormwater on that stockpile, as well as the robust SW1 pond remediation that was all hands on deck for staff this past winter into early spring. The Tetra Tech agreement is phased in such a way as time and materials, and meeting with them and discussing what we'd like to see in this 1 year initial term, we feel that they would begin operations with more or less 100%, for lack of a better term, Tetra Tech involvement on the actual doings, and that would transition to a 0%. So us watching them for the initial bit, and then them watching us for the last bit as we take on more and more of those operations. The internalization of this is not just an operational thing. It's not just burden being placed on operations. I also would share that appreciation for Ryan's engineering team that would be developing well field expansion plans, well designs, and whatnot that we can directly bid out with well drillers themselves and cut out the consultant as well. And overall, just have a better, more robust regulatory compliance and ultimate, responsibility of our own land and our own, permits as they are. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions your board may have.
Okay, so you're noticing these like strange looks up here, and if you actually look at the board report,
It's not the electronic version.
it's the paper version.
Is
All
it the printout?
All the words are weird.
We're
Yes.
playing Wheel of Fortune up
So,
here.
anyway, just that's why we're getting, even on some other things, so anyway, the titles are strange. So that's the look on our face.
Letters missing.
Can I
Yes.
buy a J?
There you go. Or an F.
A B.
All right. So, thank you for that. Sorry. Any questions on this item?
I have
Yes.
a question. So, how does this cost that we're incurring compare to what we've paid in the past? It never frankly really jumped out to me how much it cost us to operate this compared to the little revenue we get from it.
Absolutely. And the agreement with Tetra Tech is in line. It's actually less than what we've paid in the past with SCS Field Services, so that's always beneficial. They were from the short list or the pre-qualified list that the county has, so really them and SCS are the only game in town that do this kind of work in California up and down our coast. The involvement is still substantial. We still will have to drill wells, but one of the things that we're talking with Tetra Tech, working with LOSI on a pilot study for their automated system, and the current and next energy user, landfill gas user of our methane that we produce from the landfill, that we can potentially turn this kind of high cost that the landfill kind of has with the landfill gas, and more of a benefit, a kind of investment to install additional wells, which would yield additional profits, additional royalties for that gas being tapped and used. So that's something we're definitely looking forward to in the future, and having that change. And every time we come back to your board, it's not going to be another like $300,000 to drill 10 more wells. It's going to be another investment that will pay off within several years as more gas is tapped and utilized.
And I believe the contract last year totaled just about $2 million. And this year, if you add up the two, it's roughly 1.6 that we're looking at spending.
I mean, yeah, the SCS one, and for 3 months, if you annualize that, that would be over 2 million just by itself. So it seems like a lot.
And a follow-up question too. So ultimately, would we end up hiring somebody to do those tasks of?
So right now, we're not proposing to your board additional hiring. We did hire a utility service worker, the heavy equipment operator, in November that your board authorized earlier that year. And since then, we've had a significant cost savings in the heavy equipment work out there, lifting pipe, working on that yellow iron, the caterpillars, doing that heavy equipment movement, which we had to bill as prevailing wage, that we get charged as prevailing wage. Internalizing that has had a significant cost savings. Through reallocation of some operational staff's duties and assignments, we feel that would be a very good start to internalizing that, to have a more hands-on, even further hands-on, excuse the language, grasp of the well field and involvement there.
So will you utilize existing staff right now to do
Correct.
the work?
Correct, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. Thank you. Other questions? No? I'll open this up to the public for any comments from the public. All right, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for action.
So
Or
can
discussion.
I ask one more question?
free.
So after this year, will we have none of these expenses anymore?
I would be remiss to commit to that, but I can say they would be vastly reduced. It is a transition. It is a very technical, highly regulated activity that we will be internalizing. My goal is that we would be more than at least halfway there on the path to that. In a 1 to 2 year time frame, it would be fully internalized.
And we're spending $2 million a year now.
Yeah. And
Uh,
next year, the cost will be reduced because we will
Right.
be doing more.
And then the following year, once the work is brought in-house, it should be less than that $1 million-ish dollars.
We should have no contractor or consultant for this work on the
Right,
books.
so then our cost to do business is the cost to actually do the work.
Absolutely.
Okay, great, thank you. Appreciate you asking a clarifying question.
Triggered a question. So I want to make sure I heard. So there is revenue that will offset some of this cost?
There is definitely cost savings in doing it directly versus paying a for-profit contractor or consultant that we will be saving upfront. However, with the landfill gas utilization RFP and better understanding and having a consultant with Tetra Tech that would help us, better understand the value that the landfill gas pulling more, drilling more wells would provide. It would be not just presented to you as a cost of more well fields for just compliance purposes, but also as a investment so that we will gain X amount of more methane per day, which
good.
equals X amount of royalties.
I understand the flaw in my question. So I'm good.
All right. Thank you. With that, we can take action if there's no further discussion.
Chair, how do you do this? I mean, do you want us to read the actual actions or just move to
Look at our
recommend?
council over there.
I would, is this on?
It's on.
Yeah.
I would be okay with you moving staff recommendation if you don't want any deviation from it.
All right,
You
I'll
don't
move
need to
staff
read out
recommenda-
the actions.
Recommendation to authorize the chair to sign the agreement, authorize the chair to sign the second amendment, and determine the recommendation is exempt from CEQA.
It's fine.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'm gonna do roll call because that's a lot of money. Roll call vote.
Director Halden,
Yes.
Director Hadashelt,
Yes.
Director Reedy,
Yes.
Chair Gore.
Aye. Thank you. All right, next we have closed session items, and I'll have, items, so I'll have council report out.
Yes, we are going to go adjourn into closed session for a conference with real property negotiators, and we will report any reportable action after the item, and we should give the opportunity for public comment on this item before we adjourn.
Public comment on the closed item before we go to?
Before we go into closed session, yeah.
Okay, well then, before we go into closed session, I will take any public comment on the closed section item, which has to do with real property. And seeing none, I will close public comment. All right, thank you. Good. The board is back from closed session, and we will have council report out.
Chair Gore, yes, so the council did give direction to staff during closed session. They directed the staff negotiators to continue negotiations with Golden State Energy regarding an easement on the property director's agenda.
Great.
That's the report.
Thank you very much. Item 10, reports from directors. Any reports from directors?
No.
He's thinking.
Well, it's not so much a report. You know, Lincoln lost a council member recently. I don't, sorry about my lack of research, but I don't know that if he served on this.
He did.
He
serve
did.
he served on this board.
And somewhere in the back of my mind, I thought we might be adjourning in memory, or no?
I think that that's a very good idea.
Okay.
He did serve on this board and actually helped us go through the whole process of the RFP for the whole MRF upgrade.
All right.
cetera.
I get my stipend this month because I
Thank you.
contributed.
I appreciate that
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks.
And before we, the next item is upcoming agenda items. So since we're here, I do want to bring up that we would like to do the evaluation of our CEO because he's been with us a year, which is great. So we want to do an annual evaluation. Spoken to Scott about that and looking at doing a 360. And I was going to work with Scott on that process. And then we'll bring it back to an agendized meeting in the next month or two, depending on schedules.
Okay.
All right. With that, anything else? All right, well then, thank you, Director Hodeschut. We will adjourn in honor of Dan Carlskent, who was a terrific member of this, this board.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, everyone. We will see you next month.
I will not,